Okay, so we've done a lot of work on dswitch 55. So we should probably have some type of a backup, right? Some type of a configuration file so that if anything goes wrong, I can restore that configuration. And that's what I'm going to show you how to create. It's really not all that hard to do. Before I do, I want to make the point that what we are actually backing up are the policies and the host associations of the vSphere distributed switch so that we can restore those. It's not a magical elixir fixer for everything. If there's a problem with the uplinks, if there's a problem with how the vSphere distributed switch and its hosts connect to the physical side, it's not necessarily going to restore the connection to physical NICs or to the link aggregation group that I did. There still could be other problems, in other words, in how the switch relates to the physical environment. So it's not a magical elixir fixer, but it is a pretty cool tool to be able to just right click on the dswitch 55 in this case, and then I'm going to go down to all vCenter actions, and then I'm going to export the configuration. And then it says, do you want to have the distributed switch and all the port groups? Which you may as well. When you restore it, it asks you whether, if you have this, it'll ask you whether you want to just restore the distributed switch or you want to restore the distributed switch and the port groups. So you have the choice when you do the restore. So you may as well go ahead and get both. If you wanted to get possibly a quicker copy, you could just do just the distributed switch. But I'm going to leave it at the default, which is the distributed switch and all the port groups. I'm going to click on OK. And it says, okay, I exported the configuration. Now, do you want to save it? I say yes. I want to save it. And I'll just save it as something that I'll know what it is, right? dswitch 55. And I'll click on save. Simple as that. And you can save it anywhere you want, wherever is safe for you, right? On on data stores that have redundancy, so you make sure that you have it. Now, something goes wrong, and I want to restore the configuration back to what it was before. Now, here's the catch on this. Let's say that I add some things to it now that weren't part of that configuration file. When I do the restore, it won't take those away. But things that are the configuration file, right, are in the configuration file now, if those particular properties were to be changed, then the configuration file will fix those. So in other words, it does an overwrite, but it's kind of a merge, which is kind of cool if you think about it. Okay, so if I right click on it, I click on all vCenter actions, and then restore configuration, and then browse to wherever it was that I did. In this case, I'm just doing it to the desktop in my little lab environment. And there's dswitch 55. So I say, yep, that's what I want to do. I want to restore that one. And notice then it says, did you want to restore the distributed switch and all port groups? Or did you want to restore the distributed switch only? So I'm going to say I'm going to go ahead and restore the distributed switch and all the port groups. Click on next. And by the way, even if I didn't, if I just restored the distributed switch, because I didn't say anything about the port groups, it wouldn't overwrite that. And notice now that it says now it's importing the configuration of the entity. So that's how you do a restore. If you have done the export, then you can do the restore. Also, if you've done the export, and you've got the file, wherever you have it, right, on your thumb drive or accessible through the network, you can right-click on a data center. In this case, I'm going to right-click on the training data center. And instead of saying that I want to create a new distributed switch, I can say that I want to import a new distributed switch. And when I do that, then I can just browse to wherever the file is and do the same thing. Only then I'm bringing in a new switch into a new environment. Of course, then I have to take care of all the physical aspects of that. But pretty cool stuff and easy to work with. So, as you can see, there are a lot of changes that have happened in regards to the vSphere distributed switch environment for 5.1 and then 5.5. And by the way, this export, import, and restore, that started at 5.1 and has continued at 5.5. So there's a lot of things that have happened. There's also a lot of changes that have happened in regards to storage. And I want to focus on a couple of the big ones. We'll talk about storage next.